Oh my god, it's...
What's up, people of the internet? My name is Hondro, seated again today with Funky Dude 1, aka Forrest. Welcome to Loco's PoGo podcast. How you doing today, Forrest?
Good. It's almost like I'm a regular.
Dude, it's almost like you and I are the only people that have ever been on this.
It's crazy, right? We need some more people.
Hey, I did talk to Sparky Joy, though. She said she was down.
Okay.
She said she was
okay,
down.
Sparky.
This is for you, Sparky.
Sparky.
Talking to you. You know it.
Watch, we'll change it up.
Okay, let's just get right into this. So a lot of stuff has been happening this entire summer, basically. It's been nonstop. We are less than 1 day away from Mewtwo being released across Legendary Raids worldwide without EX restrictions. And we have legacy moves that are going to be exclusive to the old EX Mewtwo. But first, when exactly and where and how can you encounter...
And why.
And why.
The most important reason.
And why can you encounter new Mewtwo? Well, starting tomorrow, September 20th, or today, or whenever you're watching this video, Mewtwo's probably already out.
Yeah, if you're watching it, months from now, this is already over.
If you're watching / listening to this podcast, Mewtwo is out right now. What are you doing not raiding Mewtwo? Out of EX raids into Legendary Raid battles from September 20th through October 23rd. What do you think?
That's a month. 1
full month. Here's my goals. 2 Hundo Mewtwo's.
Well, yes.
1 for Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo X.
Yep.
1 for Mega Mewtwo Y.
Yep.
At the bare minimum.
Yep.
2 Hundos.
Right there with you. And a shiny.
We discussed the shiny possibility, and you convinced me last time that they will not release shiny Mewtwo during this month, and they're going to do another special weekend or week-long event where Mewtwo will be re-released with its shiny form because Niantic need that money.
True. And you know what? And we'll give it to them.
I will absolutely.
Suckers.
I will absolutely dole
We're
up.
suckers for the nostalgia and the childhood.
Cash.
Oh, it hurts.
I will absolutely dole out cold hard cash to battle as many Mewtwo's as I possibly can. Now, let's talk Shadow Ball and HyperBeam. Actually, forget HyperBeam. HyperBeam is garbage.
If you want if you have extra Mewtwo and you want 1 or 2 just to say that you have an exclusive move, go ahead. But otherwise, the main focus is going to be Shadow Ball. Yeah. Shadow Ball is going to get you everywhere in life with these Mewtwo's.
HyperBeam is useless. It's a normal attack. It's super effective against absolutely nothing. It's a garbage move. Legacy is cool. I have kept a couple of Mewtwo's with HyperBeam. They are some of my lowest ones. I didn't TM them.
Yeah.
And then everything else I actually went through earlier. I actually recorded a separate video that I'm uploading either probably later tonight or tomorrow that is specifically more about this topic in general, and where you see me TM all my Mewtwo's and things like that. Shadow Ball Mewtwo. Why do you want it?
Well, because it's right now the most powerful move that it can have. For DPS.
Technically, yes.
For DPS.
Yes.
The question is, after these raids come out on tomorrow, September, what move are they going to replace it with that makes these become legacy moves? So
I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-bar Psychic move.
I think it'll be Psy Strike, which is its kind of... what's the word I'm looking for? It's signature move, I guess.
Okay, all right.
So Psy Strike is a signature move of Mewtwo.
In the video I recorded literally right before you got here, I was also predicting they're going to release 2 new moves because they're taking out 2, so it's got 2 moves left in its move pool. It's going to have Psychic and Focus Blast remaining, and they're taking away Shadow Ball and HyperBeam. So I was thinking they give it 1 2-bar Psychic attack and 1 2-bar Fighting attack in preparation for its eventual break into... So that way you have a single bar Psychic attack, a single bar Fighting attack, and then a 2-bar Psychic and 2-bar Fighting options.
I could see that because I know one of the Mega Evolutions becomes
Psychic Fighting. Yeah, and the other one's just Psychic.
It makes sense for later on.
That was my thoughts on the whole thing. I mean, they could do whatever they want.
Well, yeah, they're going to do whatever they want, but that makes sense.
What about this move that is on Deoxys? It's Psycho Boost.
So Psycho Boost, I think in the games was always just a stat changing move. Like it's one of those that would raise your special defense and all that stuff. It didn't do damage in the main games.
Well, obviously,
but it was a signature move of Deoxys, so they probably turned it into a damage-inducing move because they have to in this game.
So you think that'll be a Deoxys exclusive move, Psycho Boost?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I can't think of it being on any other Pokemon in the main game series, so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it goes and what they make of it. But.
So here's why I TM'd mainly my 96 maxed out Mewtwo to Shadow Ball is because when we battle Mewtwo next month, Mewtwo with Psycho Cut Shadow Ball is the strongest counter to Mewtwo.
Yeah.
It's just the best. It's the best attacker. It's got 300 base attack. Mine has 315 because it has max attack. So it has max attack, max defense. And besides a Gengar with Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, Mewtwo is just the best. And it's better because it lasts a lot longer than a Gengar does in battle anyway.
Absolutely.
Just because it has higher defenses and higher HP. In addition to that, Deoxys, which we will get to more in depth in a second, is also weak to ghost attacks by the same amount. So it only makes sense to have Shadow Ball Psycho Cut Mewtwo's while you can. Make them that, power them up, because once he's released, I highly doubt they're going to give Mewtwo another ghost attack of any kind.
No.
I can't imagine Mewtwo will ever have another ghost attack.
Nope.
Other than Shadow Ball.
I don't think so either. I think it doesn't make sense. Shadow Ball is another one of those signature things that you think of when you think of Mewtwo.
Yeah.
It's throwing, if you've ever seen the movie, it's
him
throwing Shadow Balls.
I don't think they will give Mewtwo another psychic move. So why do you want Shadow Ball on your Mewtwo? It's so you can fight Mewtwo and you can fight Deoxys and EX raids coming up.
Yep.
That is why you want it. Other than that, I mean, Focus Blast is right now currently its best move for what's in the game
when you're battling.
Because when you battle gyms and stuff, you don't want normal types all resist ghost moves. So Shadow Ball is essentially useless, even though Mewtwo has ridiculously high attack stats.
When it destroys the big things like Tyrannotars and everything
else.
Yeah,
Focus Blast shreds Tyranitar, it shreds Blissey, it shreds Slacking, it shreds Snorlax, like all the big fat gym defenders, it just wrecks them. And then Psychic has always been good on Mewtwo, but only if you're like trying to solo a Machamp raid or something or solo an Alakazam, or no, not Alakazam, just Machamp. Yeah. Basically, it's good for soloing Machamp.
True.
Is the only reason you'd want to have Psychic.
The interesting part about
soloing a Gengar or something like that.
Well, the interesting part about this is, back in the days when it was just Gen 1, before they introduced Fairy types and Steel and all that stuff, is Psychic was way overpowered. It was one of the only types.
Psychic was by far the best.
It was one of the only types that could destroy pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And the weird part about this game is they already went into it with Fairy and Steel and Dark type introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And Dragon type even.
Yeah.
That they didn't have when it was just Gen 1.
Yeah.
So all of our basis of how much psychic attacks do, everything gets swayed based on that information. So it is still a good move, but it's not as powerful as it could have been had they, released only Dark and Steel type during Gen 2 and done it the way that they did the video games.
I like the way they did it. It makes a lot of sense to me. Just because knowing that all that stuff pre-exists, why wouldn't you?
Well, and they had to go back and change people's Pokemon's type afterwards, so it's better to do it.
Yeah, it's better to just do it up front instead of causing all that mess. I do want to talk about, before we get into Deoxys, I think we've pretty much covered. I mean, if you guys are confused as to why you would want Shadow Ball or HyperBeam, I mean, you don't want HyperBeam, but if you wanted to trade to somebody eventually, get a HyperBeam Mewtwo, that's fine. But if you're confused as to why you would want Shadow Ball, I mean, just play back the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, we pretty much explained it all.
And watch if you want a little bit more in depth, watch the video that I'm putting out after this also. So, anyway, I do want to talk a little bit about the lowlands / now regional eggs that are lasting through till the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you hatched any regionals yet?
My luck has been pretty good as far as I've done 2 batches of 9K or of 7K eggs, and I've done 3 Kangaskhan.
Oh, wow.
3 Mr. Mime, and then a couple decent Tangelas and Porygons out of it.
Really?
I know people aren't. I wasn't really excited about them being in there, but I'll take some.
Yeah,
decent
I thought
ones.
that was kind of weird because they mentioned specifically here in the article that the regionals Farfetch'd, Kangaskhan, Mr. Mime, and Tauros, and then they also threw Porygon and Tangela in there. I get that it's part of probably more of this build up to Gen 4 coming out, but I thought it was a little odd. And I've been kind of lazy on hatching, so I've hatched 2 batches and I've gotten 1 regional out of each batch. So I got a Farfetch'd that I traded away and became lucky to the and then and I got a Alolan Geodude in return for it. I was just literally trying to clear space. The Farfetch'd I hatched was bad IVs. And then I got an Alolan Geodude, and I was like, of course this would become lucky.
Of course.
Again, like the 6th or 7th Alolan Geodude.
I've yet to hatch a Farfetch from this event. I hatched a Tauros, which I'm super thrilled about. Here in America, where we see them about 10 times a day, if not, and that's just me going to work in the morning. But overall, I've said it. I think it's a success, and we still have
through the end of the month, so 11 more days. 30 days past September. Yeah, so 30. Until 11 more days. About just shy of 2 weeks. So the only other regional I've hatched so far is Mr. Mime. So Kangaskhan is really the one I want, just because of Kangaskhan's eventual Mega. Mm-hmm. So I really just want to hatch a good Kangaskhan. That's my focus. What about how do you think of the Kanto event and like the birds being back out? Have you found anything good so far, or what do you think about that in general?
I like the Kanto event. There's a couple different reasons. I think one of the big reasons that it's good, especially right now for boosted rates of what is it?
Kanto region stuff that's kind of rare.
Oddish, Bellsprout, all those things that you don't really see spawn that often, or the nests are super rare.
At least over here in the desert in Arizona.
In our biome, it's very rare. So those are nice because it's always good to maybe get another better Vileplume, better Bellossom if you wanted a better one.
And I've seen a lot of Dratinis. Obviously, Grimers and Geodudes have been increased because of their shiny forms.
Chanseys, I've seen quite a few Chanseys.
I've seen several Lapras.
The starters, I caught another shiny Squirtle.
Oh, really? Nice.
Just out and about. It's good for those where we were just talking about the next upcoming for Deoxys is a good counter for Gengar. Getting
Ghastlies and stuff.
Ghastlies and stuff out right now are good, so you can build that up.
Did you see that Beldum leak for Community Day?
I did.
I don't. Okay, here's the thing. I want to talk about this real quickly. I know we didn't talk about this ahead of time.
Ad-libbing.
So, next month, there is absolutely no way they don't do Ghastly.
You think?
There is no way they don't do Ghastly. I think obviously Beldum will be a Community Day.
You think?
If they do Beldum next month instead of Ghastly, people will lose their mind. I will lose my mind. There is no way they don't do Ghastly next month for October.
I wouldn't put it past them to not do
there
it.
There is
and
no
save that for like
way.
A Mega, because it Mega evolves later to save
and
it
so
for
does,
a certain
and so
reason.
does Metagross.
Yeah.
There is no way they don't do Ghastly for October.
But it would break the pattern.
The Beldum leak is real because Beldum Day will come. But yeah, there is no way they're going into...
It's breaking the pattern, though. Do you think they'll do a whole Community Day on it, or do you think they'll just do like they did the Ghosts when they pre-released them and up the rates of Ghastly with a chance of them being shiny?
No, they won't do that.
Because Ghastlies are already common?
Nope.
But it's a nesting species, so like, why would they do a whole day on that?
So is Chikorita, and no one wants Chikorita.
But those are the starters.
No one.
It always does the pattern of.
No one
I know, but it's always the starters, followed by what the pattern was like a non-nesting 10K egg, right? Is what the pattern was going.
They're
forward.
gonna do Ghastly. You heard it here first, folks. You've heard it here many times. It's Ghastly in October, or we riot. You hear me, Niantic? Loco Andro's calling you out. If you release Beldum in October, you guys are insane. You've lost your minds. If Beldum comes out in October instead of Ghastly, you have lost your minds. All right. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Hashtag not sponsored yet.
I won't.
Hashtag trying to get sponsored by Niantic.
I'll be less mad if it is Beldum, just because Metagross is like one of the best Pokemon in the game. It's got freaking meta in its name. Metagross is a beast. However, as I said, if there is no Ghastly for the month of October for the Community Day, there will be hell to pay.
Hey, Alex.
All right.
You want to tell me how you really feel about this topic?
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's get to Deoxys, because this is the thing that
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Deoxys.
Science class, man. Science.
All right, Deoxys. Here we go. So, now, EX Raid battles. As we predicted, you heard it here first on the Locos PoGo podcast, that Mewtwo would be replaced by Deoxys in EX Raids going forward. We weren't sure exactly how they would do the forms, if it would be a randomized thing. Obviously, it looks like they're going to release the normal form first, and then, maybe a month later or 2 months down the line, they'll change the form. Or they could rotate it every time a new batch of EX Raids go out. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I think they'll keep it as one form for a few cycles at least, and then they'll rotate through the forms back and forth.
Well, they'll milk it, because how long? We've had Mewtwo EX Raids for how long?
Over a year.
Over a year?
Yeah, more than a year for sure.
So if they did it even a year, even think if they start shortening the time of EX before it changes again. If you have a year, that's 3 months of each form that people are eligible to do, and they can, of course, do another event where they bring it back, and any form is available at any time.
And
they'll probably do another one of those
shinies,
events.
and then they'll do everything else. Let's talk about
the biggest news, though, in my opinion, is not only that these new EX Raid the gyms now show if they're eligible.
Yep. Which is a very nice feature to add.
It's a nice feature, even though we kind of already figured out the whole cell system and how to trigger them.
Yep.
It's always nice for the more casual players to know that maybe if they rate at this one, they can get an EX pass. But the fact that you can now share EX passes with your friends.
This is going to be one of the best features that maybe they've ever added, besides trading and the raid system in general. Finally giving everybody the chance, whether you've even raided or not, to be invited to an EX raid. So basically, this gives rural player. It solves the rural player problem. Mm-hmm. It solves the people that work long hours or weird hours and can't get to raids, or can't trigger raids throughout the week. It solves all those problems. So it allows you, if you get invited to an EX raid, or let's say your friend, let's say you get invited to an EX raid and I don't.
Yes. Since
we are ultra friends and will be best friends eventually, you can share your pass with me, and I will be allowed to raid, presumably at obviously the same gym and raid and time that you are raiding at.
So the caveat that I've read on this, though, is the way that things are shared is people are only eligible to receive an EX pass if they don't already have one for that week.
Okay. That makes sense.
Which is a good little format there.
You don't want to be giving you don't want to be giving away passes like that, because then you'll have people that have 3, 4, 5 passes, and that would be insane.
One, I thought I read somewhere too that it also prevented you from sharing it with people if they had a raid at the same. I guess that falls under the same category if they already have an EX pass.
Yeah, if they have an EX pass, they shouldn't be eligible to get another one. So that makes sense. But yeah, you can share it with one ultra or best friend only, and obviously you're going to want to do that with somebody local, because it's going to be sharing it to the raid and the gym that you had the EX pass to. If they just gave it to, there would be no other way they could do it. It's going to be you share your pass, and that person gets an EX raid at the same gym and time that you had. So basically, it's also help with those random times where, luckily, I never had it where I showed up and there literally weren't enough people to do the raid. I had a couple of close calls and some things like that, but I never showed up to an EX raid and there was like nobody there to do it. There was always enough people there, but the raid group that we like in this area, like our raid group is pretty tight, and most everybody knows pretty much everybody else that raids in this area. So it's always kind of worked out. But yeah, this will be a big benefit to, like I said, rural players and players that just don't have the time, money, or combination of all three of those things, whether they're far out or whatever, what have you, that just don't have the time to actually get to raids to trigger an EX raid.
Well,
so,
and it's great to spread the love a little bit of something like, even if I get an EX raid while I'm out of town, I can be like, you know what, I'm not going to make it anyway.
Yeah, I can't make this raid.
But I can now share it and give it to somebody.
Because I had that when I visited Vegas. I made some new friends over there, and now I'm ultra friend level with those people. And if I was to go back and then got an EX raid and I can't go, I could just if one of them didn't get the invite, I can just send it to them. So I think this is going to be a good way for even YouTubers like, hey, I visited Japan. So if you and I are ultra friends and you're on my friends list from Japan and you live in the area of this raid, I can just essentially give away an EX pass to somebody on my friends list that didn't already have one.
Well, because I can already count how many times I've seen trainer tips have to say like, oh, he's missing another one.
Yeah, or Prodigies or Master Holly or
Mystic,
Reversal.
Seven,
yeah, like these guys that get to travel and meet people all over the world, and then they build these friendships, and then they're like, well, I got an EX pass. I can't fly back to I can't fly back to Japan or fly back to Europe to do the raid.
It's great though, because I know back in the day I wish that they had the option of just being able to decline an event altogether, like an EX pass altogether, and they would re-randomize and send it out to somebody else.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So this is essentially that workaround. This is that way of doing it, of saying, you know what, I can't go to it or I don't want to, but here I can share the love. And it makes it a little nicer and a little more teamwork oriented. Obviously still pushing the friendship increase, because you have to be ultra
at least ultra, which at this point, I mean, as long as you added the people within the first,
you should have quite a few.
The first week or so of friends. I mean, if you don't have, like, I'm trying to count here. I wasn't really counting, but I've got a lot of ultra friends at this point.
When I think either today or yesterday was the first day that people were actually eligible
to get best friends.
So there are some people who already have that in their book, which would be nice. So I'll take all those experience bonuses.
I'll take all the raid bonuses,
because there's rumors,
battle XP
rumors that they're going to increase the level cap. There's found in the data.
I mean, we talked about it before with how fast you can get to level 40 now, just with the friendship bonuses alone. So yeah, eventually they will increase the level. They're just gonna have to.
It was found in the data with all the Deoxys, like the Shareable EX stuff. It was found in that same batch of stuff.
Did GoHub put up an article about it?
I don't know if they did or not, but I know that it was like
we'll have to look that up, and I might do a separate video on that thing just to talk about it. But yeah. So I mean that's pretty much it.
A lot of stuff going on though.
It's been another information and game dense week for Pokemon Go. Lots of exciting stuff is just continuing to happen in and around this game.
October 13th is Community Day?
Is it?
I think it's
Is it that quick?
Oh no, it's the 21st. It's right after my birthday.
Oh, okay.
21st.
Quick turnaround.
So it's
all right. So it's a 1 month turnaround from Chikorita. Who cares about Chikorita this weekend? Not me. And not
Go out there and find your brown Chikoritas.
And not anybody else. But if you guys are hunting Chikoritas, best of luck to you. I guess I'll go out and I'll catch at least 3. So that way I can have 1 shiny of each form and call it a day. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what you guys are excited about. Do you guys like this podcast format? If you do, please leave a like. It really helps us out. Lets me know that you guys enjoy this and you want to see more of it.
Anybody in Scottsdale area, if you ever see us, let us know in person.
Yeah, feel free to chat.
We're out.
You see us out at raids or taking down gyms, give us a holler. We enjoy interacting with everybody. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching for us. Again, thank you for hanging out and talking all things Pokemon Go.
Always.
Guys, let me know if you have TM'd all your Mewtwo's to Shadow Ball and how hard you are going to wreck Mewtwo this month, and then how excited you are for Deoxys coming and how hard you're going to crap all over his normal form.
That's one way to put it.
So yeah, thank you guys again for listening / watching. And until next time, I'm Loco Hondro, and I'll see you guys later. Peace! Poke trainers.